Welcome, guys. Welcome to Small Town Big Talk. I'm your host, Kristen. And tonight's episode is actually going to be a bit personal for me. I started this podcast with a best friend because we wanted to talk about life in a small town and the weird things that happen here and there, ghost stories, crime stories, and, just real life stuff. But a couple of nights ago, I found out that I'm going to be doing this podcast alone. At first, it really hurt. I did cry about it because when you start something with someone, you imagine building it together. But after thinking about it, I realized that the reason I wanted to start this podcast in the first place was because I love talking about real life stories, small town drama, and the things people don't usually say out loud. So I decided I'm not going to quit. This podcast might look a little different now, but honestly, that might make it even better. So if you bear with me, I'm going to try to keep it going and make it as positive as I can for all you listeners out there. Small Town Big Talk is going to be a place where we can talk about crime stories, paranormal stories, life, faith, struggles, and the weird and interesting things that happen in this small town and towns around it. So, if you're listening, thank you for being here. And still, welcome to Small Town Big Talk. All right, so with that being said, how are you guys today? How are you guys doing? I hope all is well, and I hope you're having a great day. And let's get this show on the road. I wanted to bring up something that is near and dear to me, and I don't know why, but I wanted to read a story that I saw on the Phil Garza page, because we all know Phil, and we love us some Phil. But this story that he has on there really kind of connected with me because I have a relative that works here in town at the prison here. And I don't know, it just kind of affects me in some way. So I wanted to read this to you guys. Let me know what your thoughts were below. So here we go, is what it said. 3 correctional officers were attacked by an inmate on Thursday, March 5th, at the Menard Correctional Center in Chester, Illinois. At approximately 10:30 a.m., an inmate at the Menard Correctional Center was being transferred to a cell in the East House. He had been in segregation, and inmates being transferred to a different cell goes smoothly most of the time at Menard. It's a typical mundane task for inmates and officers. Quite a bit of behind the scenes of work goes into properly housing inmates. If there is a cellmate in the equation, upper staff looks at everything, including the inmates' preferences and personalities, to ensure that they will, quote, cohabitate in a friendly manner and, most importantly, a safe manner. Correctional officers have no say concerning cell transfers. It is simply their job to help move inmates into their new cell. Upon arrival to the cell, the inmate said that he did not want to move into the cell. This requires a sergeant to come and help keep the situation de-escalated. The inmate was told that refusing to move to the cell is considered refusing housing, and he would have to go back to seg. The inmate started to fight the officers that he was going to, he stated that he was going to fight them. He immediately punched 2 officers in the face as they tried to utilize pepper spray. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't think pepper spray, in my opinion, would do much to a big He-Man mammoth like that guy was, supposedly. But anyway, as it says, the spray was ineffective. He continued to punch the officers, which resulted in one officer requiring surgery for a severely broken jaw. The officer with the broken jaw also suffered a concussion, but this didn't stop him from trying to help the other officers being assaulted. Another officer suffered from a substantial facial injury. A call for help went out, and luckily, other correctional officers came on the scene and held the inmate down while assessing the injuries to the correctional officers. The inmate did not suffer any serious injuries. Now, I might get some, how do I say this? I might get some backlash, but like, in my opinion, and I said this is just my opinion, why would we care about him not having any serious injuries? Just me. That's just me, I guess. But anyway, the lady that's writing this said that she spoke to one of the correctional officers, and he said that this rarely happens. We don't want to fight these guys, he says, quote, you don't really have time to react because you don't really think that they're going to swing on anyone. We'd rather utilize pepper spray than having to actually physically hurt them. In this case, the guy was merely restrained after injuring these officers. This was ridiculous. We don't control which cell they go to, he says. She says, I spoke to another correctional officer who shared that over 200 prisoners could see the officers getting hurt, and they cheered, clapped, and whistled. It feels like a slap in the face because we try to have a good relationship with these inmates. If they treat us well, we treat them well with the same in respect. So many guys in there are just there to do their time, and we have good relationships with them. One of the officers was bleeding so badly, there was blood everywhere, and it was so hard to hear the prisoners cheering about it. There was nothing to cheer about. The officer is a really good guy, and everyone likes him, so I was shocked they were cheering. He gets along with literally everyone, he says. Just a super nice guy. He did not deserve what he got. After 5 correctional officers were able to subdue the inmate, the officers were treated for their injuries, with the officer with the broken jaw having to be taken to a secondary hospital that was able to take care of his serious injury. A 3rd officer was struck during the fight from the inmate. However, he did not need medical attention immediately afterwards. Due to the incident, the inmate has been moved to another facility in Pontiac, which is what always happens after a serious attack. One officer on the scene thought that a weapon was used due to the amount of blood from the officer's broken jaw and mouth injuries. This person stated that they were thankful that no weapons were used. COs, aka correctional officers, and even their union reps reach out to her, she says, frequently because they believe CO safety is just as important as the inmates. I agree that both are equally important, and the public should know when correctional officers are severely injured after attack. So, here we are with that. I would like to introduce to you a former CO, if you will, and maybe he has some things to chime in on after hearing what I had just read. How did you feel after I had read that story?
It sounds logical.
When you were working, did you get a lot of like fights like that? Like a lot happened?
Sometimes, yes.
The way I heard it, because like I said, I have a relative in there. The way I got it perceived was that, like, you know, most inmates just want to do their time and they just want to get out. I'm not understanding why they would want to just start a fight unless they're young and they know that you're something, right?
That's a lot of it. Sometimes when they're young, I don't know. The younger ones a lot of times are more aggressive and basically haven't been told no enough in their life, and probably come from, you know.
Yes, you mean?
Yeah.
Like they just
coddled their entire life, or not brought up correctly, improper social skills.
So you think like this guy, it doesn't say in there, but it was kind of reported to me that, like, you know, he was a bigger guy. Like, do you think from the sounds of it, like maybe he had the mentality, I have nothing to or nothing to lose, so he's just going to go for it and be like, whatever.
Yeah, a lot of times it's like that, but I think a lot of them just act impulsively before they think. They think maybe 10 minutes ahead in their entire life, whatever they do. I don't think that's why they're there most of the time. They're, for lack of a better word, they're just stupid and don't think about consequences.
Do you think also, like, maybe, maybe, I don't know, maybe he was trying to prove something to the inmates? Like he got him.
Yeah, could be.
To show him like he's somebody or something at the time, or
I think a lot of it's just poor impulse control, and poor upbringing, lack of upbringing. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a big guy. It could be a small guy could inflict a lot of damage.
Who do you think is worse though, like big guy or small guy, or it doesn't really matter?
I don't think it matters.
They just got like something to prove or something?
Maybe. I think the small guys, I have seen small guys they're quick and they're wiry and can do a lot of damage quickly to multiple people.
Now, have you ever had anything of that instance happen to you?
Not directly to me, but I've seen it happen and seen the results of it. And
was it dramatic, or does it get really bad? Is I guess what I'm asking.
Yeah, for the people that it happened to, obviously, move them to another prison.
No, in your opinion, like in my opinion, yes, I think they're coddled. I think that the prison has changed from back in the day of what I've heard with my relative as compared to today. So in your opinion, of you being in there at one point, do you think that things have changed immensely as well?
From what I've heard, yes. But I was only there pretty much during the course of what it's become from what it was. That's what I heard from the older staff, that there's a lot more that goes on now that's overlooked and allowed than what used to be. And that's a sign of the times we live in, with the politics being the way it is. And, the criminals are basically right and law is wrong, and up is down and down is up. And
yeah, I've kind of noticed that too. Like not just in prison life, but in life itself.
Correct. Yeah, you notice that a lot. And how criminals are allowed to run unchecked and without any consequence, and the same thing happens in the prison there.
Yeah,
and probably all of them, but I can only speak of one. I think it's mostly just the state politics. Maybe in other states different. I don't know.
You think it's because it's Illinois, or like, do you think it's like this in all states?
I doubt it's like that in all states, but definitely in Illinois.
Yeah, I guess I could say that too, because like Illinois is just a really sucky place. But you're right. Like I've seen that in police areas too. Like I should say here, I don't know, like California and such, but everybody pretty much just gets a slap on the hand. And like I said, me working on the bus, when they do bad stuff and we call the cops on them, all they do now is literally just escort them off the bus. They don't arrest them like they used to do back in the day, because I feel now, in my opinion, that cops now are just hired to be babysitters, and it's not due to them. It's not due to it's not their fault, is what I'm trying to say. It's just what the world has become. Do you agree or disagree?
100% I agree. That's the same as corrections. You're a glorified babysitter, and you're scrutinized for everything you do, just like the police are. If whether it be use of force, or you say something mean, or little things like that, and it shouldn't be that way. There's probably a equal in between somewhere that it should be, but it's not. It's one extreme or the other, and now we're into that basically, is whether it be one extreme or the other. There's no in between. And
do you think it's gotten worse since cameras came in, body cams?
Yeah, yes, I believe so. But I
I'm with
also
you on
believe
that.
that they can be a good thing. Now, as far as I knew, that there was not body cameras in the state here, but in corrections, but perhaps there are now. The more that's on camera can be proven without a doubt, but
Yeah,
there's good things about it and also bad things.
yeah. I talked to my uncle, a long time ago. He's a retired detective here in town. But it was totally different back in that day. People want to act up and get stupid. They used to thump you, and they would never get in trouble for it. Or, people get real stupid and they could manhandle you. Whereas today, that somebody who, in my opinion, if they would have done the same thing, actually needed it or deserved it, you do that now, the criminal pretty much gets away with it.
Oh,
And the
yes,
cop,
most definitely. And then the officer, whether it be police or corrections, is the one who's going to be in trouble. And that's, you know, again, it's one extreme or the other. I suppose there should be a little leeway for violence or uh, hands-on, so to speak.
yeah.
But
Now, do you think, in your opinion, of what you like, what you've seen in there, do you think some guys do deserve that, or do you think, like some deserve it, some don't, or
oh yeah, I mean, of course,
this is your
it
opinion
depends on the
only?
situation, I suppose. But in my opinion, it should have been handled at home when they were kids, and they wouldn't have end up in prison if they were had their ass whooped a little bit,
Agreed. Agreed.
But now they leave that to them to society to deal with.
That's a good point. I want to ask you guys out there too, listening. Like, what are your thoughts? What do you, do you agree an eye for an eye, or everybody, sex offender, or I'm sorry, like child molester, any sort of inmate, which also I heard, by the way, they're not allowed to be called inmates now. So have you heard that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've changed that at least twice during the time that I was there.
Yeah. And I don't know. I just, unless they're actually like really not at fault, they're wrongfully, what is the word I'm trying to say? They're wrongfully convicted. Otherwise, your ass should be treated like, you should be treated. If you killed a child, like, I hope the worst happens to you. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
Drug charges, I'm not gonna lie, I don't think that should be treated just as much as, like, a killer or something like that. Like, I think we have more important things to worry about than like drugs or whatever. But like killing and anything to do with kids, or something to the extreme, then I think you should be treated like the shit you are.
Yeah, well, sadly, you in that line of work, you have to check your personal feelings at the door and do your job according to what the state requires. Sometimes it's not always easy. That's where the struggle happens. I think with people that there's a lot of personal struggle in the correction officers.
Do you think COs have a hard time?
Yeah. I'm sure they do deal with a lot of stuff that they can't talk about with anyone that knows what they can't go home and.
You're saying, like, even if they wanted to let loose and be like, man, listen, I had a really bad day.
Yeah, no one's going to understand that unless you worked there or dealt with it. Your wife or husband or boyfriend's not gonna know exactly what you're talking about.
So, are they allowed to talk about stuff, or they have to keep it on the low?
For the most part, keep it in house and keep it. You could be reprimanded for putting things like that on social media or news, contacting news outlets or things like that.
I wasn't aware of that, but I'm sure that, like, so much that you have to keep inside from either what you've seen that day in there or how you were treated that day in there, like, What is that? The military?
PTSD.
Yeah,
or
PTSD, because you have to keep it all inside.
Yeah, I suppose it does, and there's mental struggles people deal with because of it, I'm sure.
Yeah, and just, I don't know, what is it, about a week or two ago, I just heard about that CO in Tennessee that tragically lost his life to an inmate that wanted to act a fool. And my heart goes out to that family as well. But like I said, I have a family member, at the prison that I worry about constantly. So it is kind of good to have, you sitting here and, you've been in there, you've done it. So, you can tell me a little bit about, how that goes down or whatever. But when I was reading it, you stated, or I'm sorry, I stated that it was a Menard. Have you heard it? Is Menard bad? Is that a...
Menard is a maximum security facility. And
who all goes there, though?
The people with issues like you were speaking of, the high security threats, escape threats, just things like that. Problem people.
So, like, the people like there versus here at Hill, like you wouldn't have the same type of inmates.
Oh, you may. They sometimes
like
transfer.
Medium max, or...
Yeah, they transfer a lot of those people around to other prisons throughout the state. So
now, when you get those people, are they just like the people like at the prison here? When they come here or wherever, are they mostly like, I just want to chill and do my time, or...
Oh, a lot of them are, yes.
Did you ever get a lot of, like, I don't know, was it like everyday battle, or was it mostly chill?
There was always something, it seemed, every day with someone, whether it was a fight or some sort of dispute. But there's a lot of people you're dealing with and a lot of individual drama and a lot of personalities clashing. So I suppose you'd have that anywhere.
Yeah.
With that amount of people. But it wasn't always fights necessarily. Physical.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, so I just wanted to bring this, I don't know, it just kind of, like I said, it kind of struck me because I have a family member there, and I just never really know, So I thought maybe I could bring in a special guest. Maybe he can elaborate on this for us, and I feel like you did. So I appreciate your time coming on here.
Well, thank you. Glad I could help a little bit. I wasn't there that long, so I don't claim to know all the ins and outs, but
yeah,
it's
I'm just glad I got some of your time.
It's an experience.
And I thank you again for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Hope to hear from you again soon.